Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined today by none other than Chris from MMCrypto. Chris, thank you so much for joining us out in Korea for KBW.
Thank you so much for being here, man. I'm coming here for many years. First time in 2019. It's awesome. Korea is, as most people in crypto know, the #1 place for crazy traders, crazy people in crypto. I think on average per person, the most craziness in a good way is here in Korea. And that actually since 2017 or something. So very happy to be here. It's awesome. Thank you for having me.
Sure, yeah. I mean, our pleasure. I think that's an amazing way to summarize it, right? I think I've had the same thought myself as, wow, there's one, a lot going on. Two, these things that are going on are drastic in every which way, right? That's interesting. The first question I was going to ask you is how have you seen it evolve over these years that you've gone to KBW?
Well, the conference itself got bigger. The energy, the vibe, I think it was very high since 2019 when I came here the first time. So not so much has changed in that regard.
Sure.
That's good because it was like craziness, crypto craziness from the very beginning. And this has held on until now. But I think KBW itself got like a few times bigger, 10,000 people or something this time. Crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely massive. I mean, tough to even walk around almost. It was so many people, right? Which is amazing to see so many people in the APAC regions. I mean, this is my first time joining an event in Asia, and it's been a phenomenal experience so far. Definitely, very blessed to be out here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, what are some of the other events that you frequent, if there are any?
I like Dubai AIBC, for example, Malta AIBC. I really like Token49 in Dubai and in Singapore. That is, I think, KBW is actually in my top 3. But Token49 is also a very huge one, very good event, amazing side events. Here also you have like hundreds of events in Singapore and in Dubai during Token49. I think it's like 400 events within a week. So that's definitely also somewhere I'm going to probably during Singapore now, during the F1, I will go there also. But KBW should be in the top 3. If anyone is watching, great place if you want to travel so far.
For sure. And I can verify that. It's been an amazing conference, and, just attesting the fact that there are these hundreds of side events going on simultaneously, and there's still so many people at the conference is bizarre, right? Because all these side events
everywhere. Like, where should I go? I'm gonna miss out.
Totally. Right on. Well, what brings you out to these events? What's your goal? I'm sure you've already got a lot going on, right? What brings you to these events? What do you hope to take away from these events?
Honestly, I go mostly for the followers, just so I can make some selfies with them and meet people, just get more in contact with those people who are watching me every day. And on the other hand, like some side events, a little bit of fun, but I'm not here for business. I'm not here for networking. I don't need anyone's money. I don't want to listen to any pitches from projects. I don't want any sponsorships. I don't do any sponsorships. So I just come usually for food, for fun, and for meeting my followers. That's basically it. I think I'm probably the only person at the conference from the 10,000 people who has this goal, but that's what it is. It started differently, but that's what it is now. Yeah.
Fair enough. I think that's an awesome perspective. I guess, you are known as one of the OGs in the Bitcoin space, right? I myself, when I very first got into crypto and started learning about Bitcoin and, which eventually led me into the world of DeFi and so on and so forth, you were one of the first people that I ever discovered on YouTube, right? Is it a common thing for people to recognize you? I mean, you are, one of the OGs. When you're out of these events, is it like almost paparazzi? Like what's that like?
It always depends also on the country, but for example, if I walk through the city here, it happens very rarely. If I go to the conference, I do selfies all the time because it's like all crypto people. And it's, for example, in Singapore and Dubai, it's much more than here, but here it's still a lot. In Dubai, for example, I was at the Binance Blockchain Week. I made hundreds of selfies within a short amount of time. I had to sleep afterwards. I really felt like, I don't know, like Kanye West or Donald Trump or something. It was really crazy, like insane. Here it's okay, right? People are also a little bit more reserved. And whenever someone asks for a selfie, other people think, oh, maybe now I can ask also. And then I do a few in a row. It's chill. And I really like it. As I said before, this is one of the reasons why I'm here. I want to meet the people. So whenever someone of you sees me on the street, approach me. I'm happy to have a small talk, maybe a selfie or something. Always happy about that. I'm very grateful for every follower.
Do you have any bizarre stories from fans? Right. I mean, in the US, we have, TMZ, and there's all these like videos of fans going crazy or doing bizarre things. Have you ever had a just bizarre encounter with a fan?
No. Most of the people, I mean, we are in crypto. On average, it's very smart people, very cool people. There are rare occasions where someone is maybe a little bit weird, but maybe that's because they are excited or something, or I don't know. But I usually then just cut it off and say, hey, I have to go. And I go so far, nothing really crazy. But yeah, I am not Donald Trump. I'm not Kanye West. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be crazy paparazzi kind of things happening.
Well, not yet. Right. Yeah.
Maybe I exit crypto before that happens. Let's see.
Right on. Well, now I know that you are, one of those Bitcoin OGs. Is Bitcoin still your North Star? Is that the only thing you have your eyes on? Is there anything else in the space that interests you or that you've done research in?
100%, it's my number one, and this is not going to change. I have the vast majority of my portfolio in Bitcoin, and this is going to stay like this towards the end of the bull market, which I expect, I could be wrong, guys, I don't know, which I expect to happen within the next 6-7 months or so, towards the end of Q1 2025. Very precise, that's why I might be wrong, but somewhere towards of the end of the bull market, usually altcoins heavily outperform Bitcoin. But if you look at it historically, that is within a few weeks. But the remainder of the 4 or 5 years of the cycle, Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins. And I've been going really well for the last years to hold mostly Bitcoin, then Ethereum, and very, very few altcoins. And towards the end of the bull market, which I hope I'll be correct with the timing, I will shift a little bit of my Bitcoin holdings into altcoins, just to then afterwards take profits in Bitcoin again and hold that throughout the bear market. I'm not planning to sell Bitcoin in US dollar. I'm actually planning to just maximize my amount of Bitcoin. I'm not looking at the US dollar value. I just want as many Bitcoin as possible. And then if I diversify out into other real assets like real estate, farmland, equity, and so on. That is my plan so far, yeah.
I mean, patience is king, right? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious. You said, Bitcoin is by far the majority of your portfolio, right? And then followed by Ethereum, and then I assume there's some other small altcoins on there as well. Do you interact with things on chain so much? What is your, let's say, purchasing and storage? What does that look like for you?
Well, I did ordinals, right? For that, you have to definitely act on chain, at least before. I bought long before it was ever listed on Binance and stuff. So I bought ordinal NFTs and ordinal tokens, which are also NFTs, like Audi and stuff. So I did some landings, some this, some that, some ICOs back in the days. But yeah, most of my thing is just make Bitcoin, trade Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin, earn Bitcoin, and maximize them.
Yeah.
And then either with working, trading, holding.
Yeah, tried and true, right? I mean, it's served you well, and it's served the people that have lived up to that well as well, I would say.
I think it's the best strategy. I know a few billionaires, and if I asked them about their biggest mistakes, it was usually either like gambling with the Bitcoin, buying too many altcoins, and like over time, just losing the number of Bitcoin they were holding, yet losing actually opportunity. If any of those billionaires just bought Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin and did nothing else, they would have much more money and have saved way more time. So by just focusing on Bitcoin, even if you don't have a big portfolio, I think long term, maybe if you buy today some meme coin, maybe you make money. In, 98 out of 100 cases, you will probably lose money. But if you just buy Bitcoin, you save time. You have a lower heart rate, you will sleep better, and over the years, you will make more money. Some people who think now that holding Bitcoin is boring, I only have $100 a month to put in Bitcoin. Beautiful. Like, Bitcoin is at $50,000-$60,000. We have a potential 100x ahead within the next 10 to 20 years. If we get this best case scenario of Bitcoin becoming a world reserve currency, then we can go to $5 million, $10 million per Bitcoin. We are talking about 100x. Your $100 you can put into Bitcoin today, they can grow to, in future money, $10,000 per month. So, and with a much higher probability, I'm not saying it's 100%, but with much higher probability than picking just the right meme coin or just the right small altcoin. Not that it can't work, but I think from a risk-return perspective, it's by far the best strategy.
So what do you think it takes for Bitcoin and the industry as a whole to get there?
We just have to wait. Bitcoin is already programmed as it is, perfect as it is. So it is automatically going to happen by the forces of the market. Bitcoin solves all of these problems. So all we have to do is just sit down, lean back, and let time make the work for us, right? I mean, just look at the governments, look at the central banks. This system is about to fail. It has to fail. We cannot actually extend it much longer. We have fiat currency with an extremely quickly expanding supply since 1972, I think. And we cannot expand it for much longer. The system is about to fall. And Bitcoin solves most of these problems, actually. And by just holding Bitcoin and waiting for the system to fall, waiting for the US dollar, for euro, for the Great British Pound to debase and to lose its value, to inflate, then this gives Bitcoin value, right? And confiscations give Bitcoin value. Corrupt governments give Bitcoin value. All of these things give Bitcoin value. And if you just wait, it's inevitable. The network effects will take over, and eventually the whole world, most of the whole world, will be exposed to Bitcoin. And as the demand increases and the supply stays somewhat the same, what is the regulating mechanism? It's the price. The price has to go up to actually satisfy the demand. So just buy Bitcoin, lean back and wait. Easy as that.
There you go. And I think, just anecdotally, in my perspective, right, that philosophy has already been proven, right? If we see the Silicon Valley Bank as an example, when that collapsed and a lot of these startups, lost tons of money because this, major tech capital bank just went illiquid, Bitcoin pumped. It was a sign of shit, we actually can't trust the banks, right? And Bitcoin was created during the financial crash, wasn't it? 2008.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so we haven't
just made for that.
Yeah, and we haven't seen that occur since, right? So I'm curious. We saw it with Silicon Valley Bank, that small instance of, oh shoot, here's a little bit of insolvency. All right, Bitcoin's it pumps a little bit after that. All right, now what's the next? 2008.
It's a very good point, man. And we haven't had another financial crisis since then. If we look at the correlation between the US dollar index and Bitcoin, yes, surely if you see stocks going down, Bitcoin goes down, there is a positive correlation still, but over time, this correlation is weakening. And I do see, if there is, and there will be a crash, probably in 2025, a financial market crash, right? Not even crypto related. Mm-hmm. It will drag down Bitcoin with it, for sure, but that's short term. Right? Short term, of course, there is a strong correlation. Financial markets go down. Bitcoin, after the bull market, it will crash. That is for sure. And I'm sure it's not going to be just 50, 60%. It's probably going to be more. But I will not try to time the market. I'll just hold it. And I already know that Bitcoin will recover because of its fundamentals and because it actually fixes the fundamental problem which causes the financial market to crash.
Right.
So that is why, for me, it's very easy. If you are watching and you're new to crypto and you think oh, what should I buy? What should I do? I don't understand it. It's so easy. Just whatever I said. And if you do that, you will probably outperform some billionaires out there, at least percentage-wise.
What do you think it takes for people to wake up to that fact?
I mean, you woke up to that fact. I woke up to that fact already. So again, it's just time, right? We see the amount of people being exposed to Bitcoin increasing. In Turkey, people of our age, I think almost everyone in our age is exposed somewhat to Bitcoin, has a Binance account. It's crazy. You have similar things happening in Venezuela and other countries. It's actually very interesting. If you plot the inflation of a nation's currency against the Bitcoin adoption rate in that specific country, there's also positive correlation. The higher the inflation, the more the adoption rate of Bitcoin is. So again, it's just time. And as these systems are crumbling down, people will search for an alternative. People will search for something to preserve their wealth in. And that will actually make people wake up to that fact.
It's a fair point, fair view. I mean, I definitely agree. I'm curious, were you at Bitcoin Nashville?
No, I wasn't.
I see.
Yeah.
I want to know, what do you think about some of the things that people are trying to build on top of the Bitcoin network, right? I think the Lightning Network is a good example. There's also a lot of talk about layer 2s even coming out on top of Bitcoin. What do you think of these things?
It's very honest and honorable approaches. Lightning, I'm waiting since I started for this to finally be mainstream, but it hasn't happened yet. If it ever does, beautiful. If it doesn't, it's okay. Bitcoin will survive. I'm looking at ordinals, as I said. I am exposed to them for like 1.5 years. So I think that is an interesting thing. If there ever is another NFT craze again, I think Bitcoin is the big king of this cycle. Then if that happens, I think ordinals will boom. If not, no problem. I'm fine with that. But they will take Bitcoin with them. So I'm now looking at some solutions on top of Bitcoin, but yeah, other ones are also interesting. I mean, just look at Solana. I mean, so many projects on there, so many people programming on that. I just can't shit talk about Solana because it is successful, it's beautiful, and that's amazing. But yeah, I'm not heavily exposed to those kind of things.
Sure. It is really interesting, right? Like the case of Solana. Because I mean, Solana as a chain, it has its pros, it has its cons, right? And I think that has really shown. I mean, this is a bit off topic, but there was a day about 2 weeks ago where Pump Fund, this website, the fees from that website overtook any chain. It overtook Ethereum, Tron, Solana. The fees from this one platform on Solana that are pretty much creating that Solana casino made more fees than any other network.
Interesting.
Right?
And we have that all the time. Sometimes the Bitcoin fees are exploding, sometimes Ethereum fees. When the NFTs were going crazy, I mean, look at what happened to the Ethereum fees. That's crazy. But these things are temporary. It's all phases, it's hypes, it's short term. What will prevail is the real fundamentals, what really solves a problem and what actually impacts people's life. And that is Bitcoin, might be Ethereum, and a very few selected other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is for sure. How did you discover Bitcoin?
2017. I mean, I studied economics and I knew about the flaws of the financial world, right? I knew about the flaws of the currency system, about the European Central Bank and the Federal Reserve. And I thought gold was the solution, silver was the solution, and partially it is. But then I found Bitcoin and I understood has the same properties like gold and more. So, wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
I was lucky that I studied economics because I very quickly understood that is the thing. So I dropped everything, dropped the study, dropped my real estate license and everything. I prepared for my way to go and just went all into Bitcoin and then content creation also.
Who do you think Satoshi Nakamoto is? Do you think that even matters?
It does not matter at all, but I think it's probably Hal Finney and maybe some other people.
Sure.
Hal Finney, unfortunately, he passed away, but it does not matter at all because Bitcoin is there already. And even if we find out who it is, it wouldn't change anything. Even if it was the NSA, what some people are saying, which I don't believe, it would not change anything. Because you can't change Bitcoin now. Just because it was the NSA, Bitcoin is what it is. It's an open book. Everyone can read the code, and it wouldn't change anything fundamentally about Bitcoin. So I don't really care about who it is, but I think it is Hal Finney and some other people. And I think whoever it was probably a very nice person because the 1 million Bitcoin they were never touched. And they could have made a lot of money by just like dumping into the market. And they stayed anonymous for a very good and probably very ethically honorable reason.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. This has been an amazing interview. Absolute pleasure to meet you. Glad you're out here in KBW. Look forward to seeing you in the future. I'm sure we'll cross paths. One last 5-second question.
Yeah.
When moon?
When moon, good question. I think this is what everyone was waiting for, right? I mean, September is historically the worst month for Bitcoin performance-wise. Most of the month in the last 14 years, most of the September months in the last 14 years were bearish, were red. But I have good news. Most of the October month within the last 14 years were green. I think 8 out of the last 9 October months, and October is my birthday month, were green for Bitcoin. And not only because of that, because it would be very foolish to base your prediction on that, but also chart-wise, I can't pull up a chart right now, but also chart-wise, it is telling me that October latest is where we should actually get this final breakthrough. And I think and hope and wish that we are going to break 70,000 in October. The moment, however, this I can say, the moment we break 70,000 US dollar on a weekly candle with volume support is the moment it's going to be champagne bottles. We can make party and everything because 100,000 will be just in front of us. Like, we go sideways for ages. The longer we go sideways, the lower the volatility goes, the more volatile and brutal the breakout will be. The moment we break 70,000 with a weekly candle and significant volume support, 100,000 is going to come in no time. Like, I'm talking days, maximum like 3 weeks, 4 weeks or something. That is just a 50% gain. And we've seen often 10, 15% for Bitcoin per week. So I think it's going to be happening soon. But not necessarily this or next week.
There you go. So when moon, the answer is soon.
Soon. Moon, soon.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you again so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.